Hey, beautiful star beings. This is Meagan Mermaid, and I am a galactic guide and channel for galactic consciousness. And today I am talking all about the full moon in Libra, which has some very interesting energy. Libra itself is ruled by Venus. So the planet Venus is all about love and money and attraction and beauty. But then we have this energy of Chiron in the mix. So when we have this energy of Chiron, it's like this energy of wounding. So, because Libra is all about relationships, it's kind of like we've got to deal with the emotional wounds before we can have those healthy relationships. Sound like fun? So, if you're new to my work, my name is Meagan Mermaid, and I'm a galactic guide and channel for galactic consciousness. And my role is supporting star beings and activating their divine purpose, connecting with their creative genius, and receiving the support that they deserve from their star families. So I was really called to hop on today, even though I just finished another journey, which the replay will be available by tomorrow if you're watching this. So you can even purchase the replay now, and I will be sending it within 24 hours. And this was about activating the compassion portal. So we had a lot of really powerful teachings and this very powerful DNA activation. Hi, Leah, good to see you with the Lyrans and with the Andromedans and the Sirians. So even though I just finished this really powerful transmission, I still felt like it was important to hop on. And I'm sorry, the lighting in my Airbnb is kind of like weird now. So I had to turn the lights on and it kind of looks like I am from space, right? Because like these big light beams are coming down. So it is what it is. But we're just going to make it work. So, full moons are always a time of release. And this is the first full moon of the astrological new year. And so that means that we're sort of like at that first space now of where we've started. Leah's laughing. We're sort of at that first place now of where our intentions were at the start of spring equinox, and what we've got to let go of in order to manifest the things that we want to manifest. And that's sort of how it goes. New moons, we set intentions. Full moons is a time of release. And because it's a full moon in Libra, the energies of Libra are about beauty, of harmony, of balance, of beauty, of justice. And so, in order to have those things, we've got to have a healthy relationship with our heart. And it's funny because I had actually had a couple different possible dates planned because I was like, oh, it's the full moon in Libra. I should go out and I should meet someone. And then it turned out that like the full moon energy, especially with this Chiron stuff, like made me feel really depleted. And I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just going to focus on me. So I don't know if you've been feeling that way too, but this energy of Libra is really the energy of balance, right? So, in order for us to have healthy relationships, we've got to be balanced in our masculine and our feminine energy. And we've got to be willing to look at those wounds. Luckily, even though the moon is opposing Chiron, so let's talk about the sun right now conjunct to Chiron in Aries. We have all of this energy of Aries. Now, Aries is about the self and it's about independence and it's like, what is mine? And then Libra is what is ours, right? And so when we have like our emotions, or excuse me, hi, good to see you. Welcome, Anon. So, when the moon is in Libra and emotionally we want to be connected, but then we have this wound that causes us to maybe be hyper independent, or maybe it's this fear of wanting to open our hearts. We talked a lot about that in activating the compassion portal today, which you can purchase the replay for, about how to open our hearts and keep our hearts open. And this is really what we're being primed for in this new moon energy, where in order to have those healthy relationships and the things that we want, we've got to heal our hearts. We've got to look at our wounds. So if you've been experiencing maybe some weird dreams, I definitely have, or maybe old emotions coming to the surface, or maybe it's like you feel like these conflicting desires, right? Maybe like you really want a partnership or you're really attracted to somebody, but then you're also terrified, right? Because we've all been hurt and like, we've all experienced things. So it's like we guard ourselves and we guard our hearts, but that's not going to work. And moving forward, we've got to be these way showers where our hearts are open, and that requires a lot of courage and it requires a lot of vulnerability. Fortunately, Mercury is also sextile to Mars, and it is sextile to Saturn, and Mars is sex or trine to Saturn. So it's a lot of good energy where we can build a new foundation, a stronger foundation, and where we can take new actions. That's the thing. If we want to heal these wounds, we've got to speak our truth. We've got to say the things that feel vulnerable to say. We've got to be willing to take different actions. So this moon might be highlighting areas of your life where maybe you're not setting boundaries that are making you feel empowered. The thing with Libra, the shadow side of Libra can be kind of like this fear of conflict or indecisiveness. So there can sort of be this way of sorry, I just talked for an hour and a half. I'm like, what am I saying? Yeah, this indecisiveness. Let's see. Yeah, Anon's saying, I've been having nightmares. Is that considered a weird dream? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're always going to just have to decide for ourselves what weird is to us. But, I have heard that when you have nightmares, it's actually a good thing because you're processing a lot in your sleep, but it's not always fun to to process that. So yeah, it's definitely one of the things that can be happening right now in this energy. But yeah, so we've got to look at the shadows of Libra. We've got to look at, where we're maybe not taking action. We're waiting for somebody else to make the move or somebody else to take the action. Or maybe we're using somebody else's non action as a reason for our non action. And there's all sorts of things that are like, oh, you should be the one that says this, or you shouldn't be, or you should wait for that person to do this. And there's all these like relationship semantics that just get very confusing and really just block us from receiving the love and the support that we need. So I just encourage you to listen to your own heart and to just really tune in and ask yourself, like, where do I need to make changes? Where do I need to speak my truth? Where do I need to set stronger boundaries? Where do I need to practice forgiveness? That's another thing is, yeah, the full moon is in Libra. We want relationship, we want partnership, but how are we going to call that in if we're holding on to resentment or unforgiveness from the past? And so we talked a lot about that today as well in activating the compassion portal, in, how to really look at the people in our life that have hurt us and see them as the people that have helped us to expand, and in that expansion create more light, which allows us to have a deeper experience of beauty, allows us to access more creativity within our lives. So when we see even the people that have hurt us as this opportunity to create more beauty and to feel more joy and to feel more love, sometimes that knowingness makes it a little bit easier to process those feelings. But we have to be honest with ourselves about the wound that's coming up. And, sometimes we just have to sit with it. Sometimes we might get like we might make it too complicated. Like, well, where's the root? And is it an inner child thing? Or is it an inner teen thing? Or is it this relationship? Or is it because my parents didn't do this? Or my parents did this too much? And sometimes we get way into our head with our emotions. And we got to be careful about that, especially because Libra is an air sign. So if we just get back into our body and like we ask our body, like, what is my truth? What am I feeling right now? Maybe there's just a wave of grief or a wave of sadness that needs to be felt. That happened to me the other day. Somebody triggered me and like they didn't even say anything rude or mean, but like the thing that they shared with me just brought up like this feeling and deep emotion where like I literally just started crying and like I couldn't even respond to them until like the next day because I was just like in my feelings and I had to be with that. And that's that Chiron energy where it's like this stored grief that we haven't processed. And so something will come along and kind of just like press that button, and suddenly it all comes rising back up to the surface. And so when we give ourselves those moments to just sit with it and recognize like, okay, I'm experiencing sadness right now. I'm experiencing grief. I'm experiencing loss. I'm experiencing anger, rage, whatever it is. Just be that witness and breathe through it. Sometimes we all just need a really good cry. And like, you know, tears are really powerful. Salt and water are very purifying. And it's funny because there's a saying that mermaid tears turn into aquamarine. Let me see if I have some aquamarine. I think I do actually. Um, yeah, and it matches my nails. But anyway, so think about it. Like, if there's this myth that says like mermaid tears turn into these beautiful crystals, it's just like the same for us of recognizing that the purifying that we're doing with our emotions. Oh, thanks, Kim. Isn't that sweet? So the purifying that we're doing in our own bodies is not just for us. Like, we're literally doing it for the collective because we all are experiencing and we're transmuting the collective trauma. And that's the thing too that we have to understand is when we're in our wounding, like we feel like it's just us. Like, why am I unlovable? Or why don't relationships work out for me? Or why do I always struggle with this thing or that thing? And we get into this like little bubble where it feels like we're the only ones that are struggling. When in reality, like the wound is the same for all of us. Yeah, and not sharing, I don't cry much, but when I feel a relief. Yeah, but when you do, you feel relief. That's amazing. Yeah, and it, you know, it's going to be different for all of us. You know, some of us can process emotions in different ways, but I just encourage you to let however the emotions are arising to just arise naturally and know that it's a beautiful process. And the more that we can just honor that space and when we do process those deep emotions, you know, how can you practice self-care? How can you you know, make your space as inviting as possible? And like, how can you maybe have beautiful fragrances or you know, make yourself nourishing food? Practice self-care. Be the partner to yourself that you want to attract, and that's going to make a huge difference, a huge difference. Because when you're going into a relationship, you're mirroring back all of the things that you still need to love and heal and accept within yourself. And the more that you're doing that prep work on your own, the more that you're not going to get triggered as much by your partner. Or when you do, you're going to be in a space where you guys can both talk it out. And, you know, we have to understand that there's a dynamic that's playing out between masculine and feminine energies. And this is a polarity. So, I mean, you can be a female and have this playing out in a masculine role or vice versa, or identify with no gender. It's simply polarities of energy that are playing out. And it's been this dance of the masculine and feminine that we're healing. And oftentimes it's like the masculine feels a lack of respect, or the feminine doesn't feel safe or seen, or there's these dynamics of like running and chasing, and it just gets like really convoluted. And so the more that we try to focus on like fixing that, it's kind of like putting a band-aid on a wound. So we've got to stop trying to fix it from out there and think, well, maybe if I do this, or if I'm prettier, if I'm this or that, or you know, maybe they'll, whatever it is that like we try to strategize. And instead we just got to figure out, what do I need right now? What's making me feel this way? What's bringing this up? Why is this coming up for me right now? How can I sit with this? How can I love myself? How can I honor myself? So today, one of the things that I did for self-care is I got my nails done. And it's just like this simple thing where like, that makes me feel better. And so, you know, what are things that make you feel better? You can share them in the chat. And also, isn't this like such a rad color? Aw, thank you, Anon. I appreciate that. So I'm going to be pulling some cards from my deck, as well as, I don't know, I think I might pull some tarot cards as well. Thanks. And I don't know if you can see it, but like the guy, like he put like this, I'm going to try to show you. It's like glitter. Can you see the glitter? Like it's silvery and white glitter. And like, he was like, "Oh, it matches my eyes. Thanks." And it's funny because like he's like, "I'll do something," and Libra is beauty, the energy of beauty, right? And like I was like, this dude just wants to create. So I let him create on my nails and it turned out really pretty. So Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Self-love is at the bottom of my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle. And this should be available within the next few months. So if you haven't already subscribed to my mailing list, when you subscribe, you can sign up for my mailing list and you'll get a free meditation to connect with the mermaids of Sirius and learn more about mermaid consciousness. And you can also check out my website to do that and learn more about the beautiful mermaids of Sirius. So we have self-love for this moon, a new chapter, and freedom. So I think this is such a beautiful mix. So I'm going to talk about these one by one. Every mermaid empowerment has a different affirmation statement. So self-love is I love the fins I'm in. Yeah, and Leah is the only other human that has a copy of this deck right now. So she already knows and she's feeling those cards. I love that. Thanks for being a way shower in mermaid consciousness, Leah. So the mermaid empowerment for self-love is I love the fins I'm in. And literally, if we want to attract healthy partnerships, we've got to love ourselves. And it's not just like a cheesy saying that's on a meme on Instagram. Like self-love is really like radical. It really is, because we have so much programming going on that's telling us to despise ourselves or shame ourselves or blame ourselves. And the more that we can tune in and love ourselves exactly as we are, let's see. Yeah, Anand, thank you so much. So I won't have time today to share more about the mermaids, but I definitely will keep that comment in mind for future videos. And I do have that guided meditation that you can get that will offer anyone that's more interested in information. So I'm so glad that you found me. And the Mermaids of Sirius, I'll just share briefly, is my high council, and they are a group of beings, and they originate in Sirius, and they offer a path to ascension that is based in beauty, bliss, and sovereign sensuality. And so, what they offer is what's called a mermaid etheric body that supports us on this journey or this quest in our awakening. And so, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle, which is the card deck that I'm using, this is 44 mermaid empowerments, which are these statements that begin to activate your DNA with new programming, new upgrades that offer empowerment, that offer self-love, that support you in healing some of the wounds of the feminine. So again, although we do have masculine and feminine energy, or whether you identify with masculine or feminine in your gender, we all carry within us the wound of the feminine, and the wounds of the feminine are codependency and disempowerment and fears of our authenticity, fears of our magic. So these are the things that the mermaids heal, the wounds of our womb, of our throat, of speaking up, of, protecting our sacred body space, of reclaiming all of that. And so what's really powerful about mermaids is that they embody this beautiful, energy, this innocence of sensuality, this innocence of the feminine, the wild feminine that can't be tamed, that couldn't be taken out, during the ruling of the patriarchy and all of that. The mermaid has remained this beautiful, confident energy, this archetype. And so that's what they represent in short. But I definitely can go more into their messages in future videos. So thank you for that comment and that question. But one of the things that the mermaids can really support us in is guiding us in how to develop more self-love. And you'll know that you're starting to get there because the radiance will be coming from within rather than looking for it in the external world. And so then we have new chapter. So it's interesting because yesterday was the start of, what is it, Leah? The 10th moon in the Galactic New Year. Or not the Galactic New Year, but the Galactic calendar. So the Galactic New Year starts on my birthday, July 26th. Oh, I got it right. Awesome. So we're in the moon. Is it the moon of manifestation that this moon is? And so this is a new chapter. Yes, moon of manifestation. Yes, the new chapter. This mermaid empowerment is every sunset brings a new tomorrow. And so we're in a space now where we're stepping into a new chapter. New timelines are available. And it's kind of like if we can take this moment, this pause to be with our wounds rather than pushing them away, rather than blaming them on another person, and really just feel them, we're going to create the space for more manifestation, for really powerful things to come through for us. And when we create the space through our healing, we receive freedom. And the mermaid empowerment for freedom is I free myself by letting go. And so